You are listening to the podcast for learning the language of A Course in Miracles so you can understand the meaning, embody the message, and live the teachings as a way of life. Welcome to episode 29 of this podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Jennifer McSween, creator of this podcast, and the Course in Miracles practice coach for taking those who are studying the course from information to application. On this week's episode, I'm going to talk about the concept of the shift in perception, the most central or main lesson that A Course in Miracles aims to teach. Now, both in theory and on a practical level, the ability to shift your perception is the one lesson A Course in Miracles seems designed to teach and wants us to learn. And this is because, in the context of the Course, the miracles that the Course's title states is, by definition, a shift in perception. Every principle, every teaching, every lesson, idea, or practice that the Course presents in some way is for the purpose of showing us or teaching us how to shift our perception, while encouraging us to do so that we can experience the miracles as promised in the title. Yet, this is the one lesson with which, as course students, we struggle to understand the most, and as a result, have difficulty putting into practice. So we also struggle to learn what the Course is teaching and to experience the miracles that the Course promises, which for most of us, if not all of us, is in some form of peace, healing, or happiness, or a transformation, a healing of our relationships, of our minds, that we came to the Course seeking. Now, we all come to the Course from the ego-generated perspective of the world of form, in which we judge according to appearances, because we believe that forms have power and substance. As a matter of fact, we believe that it's what we experience in the world that is causing us to experience dis-ease or lack of peace or some form of pain. So we believe that the forms have power and substance. They're the cause of our disease. And that the way something or someone looks, acts, or behaves not only has meaning in and of itself, but we believe that it reflects the truth of what it or that person is, and telling us something that is essentially true about them. In which case, perception, what you see and the way you see it from the perspective of the world, is accepted as an indisputable fact. So when you think of changing or shifting your perception from this perspective, which we all come to the Course with, you will take it to mean you need to change your thinking. And this is the approach that we take. This is what we try to do as we attempt to honor the Course's teaching to shift our perception. And this is why we struggle. Because what this amounts to is engaging in some form of positive thinking or trying to deny unpleasant feelings we're having by trying to cover them over with happy thoughts. And this doesn't work. It doesn't just rarely, as in R-A-R-E-L-Y work, it doesn't just rarely work, it never does. It never works. Because thoughts and perceptions are not the same things. And this is not a course in positive thinking and or denial. From the perspective of A Course in Miracles, perception is interpretation. It is not what your physical eyes see or the form of what you experience that defines perception, but the meaning that you give, the story you're telling yourself about what your physical eyes see and the form of what you experience, what you're telling yourself about that. That is what your perception is. According to the Course, thoughts do not give rise to perception. Rather, it's the other way around. And this is probably one of the perspectives of A Course in Miracles that is most radically different from that of the world. In the context of the course, here's the way you want to look at it, or how it plays out. As you think, so you experience. But your thoughts are based on your perception, the way you look at something. So if you want to change what you experience, you need to change your perception. Now, awareness, understanding of, and entertaining this one idea is essential to shifting your perception and ending the struggle and the difficulty in both learning the lesson, learning what the course is teaching, and then as a result, experiencing miracles as the course teaches. Here's why. Your perception, which as defined by the course is the way you look at something, is based on the thought system you are holding that represents the truth for you. Now, as you know, the perception of the world is based on the ego's thought system of separation, and as a result, we think, think of, and in turn, experience the world as fearful, threatening, and victimizing. In other words, our experience of the world, or the way we experience the world, can be described as that of misery. A Course in Miracles presents or is teaching us that there is another thought system, the Holy Spirit's thought system, that we can entertain that will change the perception, the way we look at the world and everything in it, including ourselves and each other, and the effect we're having on each other and the world is having on us, that will allow us to see, feel, and experience a sense of peace, love, safety, and wholeness, regardless of the circumstances, conditions, or events that seem to be taking place in our lives, in between each other, between us and each other, and or in the world. This shift in perception is what the Course calls a miracle. They are one and the same. A miracle is a shift in perception. You experience a miracle, or when you shift your perception, what you experience is a miracle. You don't shift your perception and you entertain this other perception, you experience misery. So it's not that the miracle or you shift your perception to make something happen. As your perception is shifted, you have the experience of a miracle without anything changing or happening out there somewhere. So this makes the title of the course can be equally stated as a course in shifting your perception, because entertaining the Holy Spirit's thought system automatically shifts your perception. So that's it for this week, short and sweet. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Understanding the Language of A Course in Miracles podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode or found it helpful, please leave me a review on iTunes or on YouTube if you do listen in that modality. This way, others can hear about it, enjoy it, and find it helpful also. And do subscribe so you don't miss another episode. Have a great week, and see you on the podcast next Wednesday.